Now, let's go deeper and really unpack these savings in detail. Because when you're dealing with a handheld that costs more than a lot of full-size gaming laptops, every bit of knowledge helps. Think about this first. Why would Lenovo even allow people to downgrade the storage or remove the charger? On the surface, it looks like they're just giving options. But the reality is, they know customers are looking for ways to justify the price. By showing you that you can trim the total, Lenovo keeps you within their ecosystem. Instead of walking away because the device feels too expensive, you're more likely to say, "Alright, if I remove a few extras, it's suddenly within reach." It's clever marketing, but it also works in your favor if you're smart about it. Let's focus on storage again, because this is the single biggest area where money can be saved. The 1 terabyte model looks good on paper. It feels like a comfortable size for modern gaming. But remember, the Legion Go 2 uses standard NVMe SSDs. That means you're not locked into Lenovo's pricing. Lenovo charges a premium because they're bundling the bigger drive into the package. But you don't need to accept that. You can buy your own SSD later, on Amazon, eBay, or any major retailer, at a fraction of Lenovo's markup. For example, right now, you can find 2 terabyte NVMe SSDs from reputable brands like Samsung, Crucial, or WD for far less than Lenovo's jump from 1 terabyte to 2. Even 4 terabyte models are becoming more affordable compared to just a few years ago. Installing one yourself isn't complicated. If you've ever swapped a hard drive in a laptop, it's essentially the same process. Open the device carefully, remove the screws, slide out the existing SSD, slide in the new one, and reinstall your system. For many gamers, that's an afternoon project at most. By accepting Lenovo's downgrade to 512 gigabytes at checkout, you're saving £100 immediately. That's money in your pocket today. Then, down the line, when you actually need more space, you can buy a 2 terabyte SSD for maybe £150, or even less if you catch a sale. In total, you've upgraded your system for around £250 instead of paying Lenovo's £400 difference. That's a huge long-term saving, and the device ends up even better equipped. Now, let's step back and ask, how much space do you really need right away? Modern AAA games are big, yes. A title like Call of Duty can eat up more than 100 gigabytes on its own. But realistically, how many of those games are you going to play at the same time on a handheld device? Most players rotate between 2 or 3 big games, plus some smaller indie titles. 512 gigabytes can handle that just fine. And if you're someone who tends to finish games and move on, then even less space is plenty. The idea that you need 2 terabytes from day one is more about peace of mind than practicality. This is why the downgrade trick is so powerful. You're not losing anything except unused storage. And in return, you're keeping more of your cash for upgrades later. That's smart buying. Now, let's talk about the charger option. At first, saving £10 by removing the charger doesn't sound worth the hassle. But think about your current setup. Do you already own USB-C chargers? Many of us do, thanks to laptops, phones, tablets, and other devices. If you already have a reliable 65-watt or 100-watt charger, the extra one from Lenovo might just sit in a drawer collecting dust. In that case, why pay for it? On the other hand, Lenovo's charger is guaranteed to be compatible and optimized for the Legion Go 2. And £10 for that peace of mind is actually a fair deal. Compare it to buying a third-party charger online, where prices often start at £20 or more for a good brand. So, this choice comes down to your personal situation. Do you already have plenty of chargers lying around? Remove it. Do you want a backup just in case? Keep it. Either way, the power is in your hands, and that's what makes Lenovo's customization page so valuable. So far, by combining storage downgrade and charger removal, we've seen how to save around £110 on Lenovo's site. That already softens the blow of the device's premium price. But let's push further, because the story doesn't stop with Lenovo. This is where third-party retail, RS like Very, come into play. Now, a lot of people are skeptical about buy now pay later schemes. And honestly, they should be. These systems are designed to encourage spending by making it look painless at the checkout. You don't feel the cost immediately, so you're more likely to click buy. But if you use them responsibly, they can be a powerful tool. Very System is a great example. Here's how it works in detail. When you sign up for Very Pay, you're essentially opening a store credit account. You go through an application, including a credit check. If you're approved, you can then use that account to buy the Legion Go 2 with 12 months interest-free. That means you can pay off the device gradually, without paying any extra, as long as you clear the balance within the 12 months. If you don't, though, that's where the danger lies. The interest rate is brutal, 45% April. That can turn a smart discount into a nightmare of extra costs. But here's the trick. Very rewards people who use this system. If you're an existing VeryPay customer, you get 10% back on your purchase. That means if you pay £1,099 for the 1TB Z2 Extreme, you'll get about £110 credited back to your account within a month or two. You can then use that credit to pay down the balance or for other purchases. It's not an instant discount, but it's real money saved. The even better deal is for new customers. If you've never signed up for VeryPay before, there's a high chance you'll receive a one-time 20% discount code by email after approval. This isn't guaranteed every single time, but enough people have reported it that it's worth trying. 20% off £1,099 brings the price down to £879. Add shipping, and you're still under $880. That's a massive discount compared to Lenovo's direct pricing. Now, imagine combining this with what we discussed earlier. You could grab the Z2 with 512 GB from Very, use the 20% code, and walk away with one of the most powerful handhelds on the market for under £800. Later, you upgrade the SSD yourself, spending another $150 or so. In total, you've built a system that rivals Lenovo's top-tier model, but you've paid hundreds less. That's the definition of buying smart. Of course, you need to be cautious. Buy now, pay later is not free money. If you forget to pay, or if you assume you'll handle it later but don't, the high interest can destroy your savings. That's why I want to be very clear. If you use VeryPay, set reminders, set a payment plan, and clear that balance well before the 12 months are up. Treat it as a temporary tool to access the discount, not as a way to delay paying. If you follow that rule, you win. If you ignore it, you lose. Now, let's step into the psychology of why this works. The Legion Go 2 is positioned as a luxury device. It's not meant for everyone. Lenovo knows this. That's why they set such a high starting price. It makes the handheld feel premium, like an exclusive piece of tech. But by offering small customizations and allowing third-party retailers to run discounts, they create the illusion that you're beating the system. You feel clever for saving money, even though Lenovo is still making a profit. This is a win-win. They get sales, and you get a sense of victory. That's also why so many people are still buying it despite the price. Online, you'll see complaints about how outrageous the cost is. But look at Reddit threads and retailer stock levels, and the reality is clear: the device sells out quickly. People aren't just talking, they're actually buying. Some are even grabbing 2 units, especially when discounts apply. Maybe they plan to resell one at a profit, or maybe they want to gift one. Either way, it proves that demand is strong. This is important for you as a buyer to understand. When demand is strong, stock disappears fast. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to buy, you risk missing out. That doesn't mean you should rush blindly, but it does mean you should be prepared. Have your plan ready. Know whether you want to buy direct from Lenovo or wait for a Very discount. Have your finances in order. And when the moment comes, act decisively. Another factor to consider is regional availability. At the moment, Lenovo's U.S. website doesn't even allow pre-orders. It just says coming soon. That means, for now, the discount tricks mainly apply to the UK and some European countries. But there's a good chance the same options will roll out in the US once ordering begins. Lenovo's customization system is consistent across regions, and retailers like Best Buy often run their own promotions. So, if you're in the US, it's worth keeping an eye on Lenovo's site and checking if similar discounts appear. The same logic applies. Downgrade storage, skip extras, and watch for retailer promotions. So, let's recap the strategies we've covered in this section. Skip the 2TB model. It's overpriced for what you get. Start smaller and upgrade storage later yourself. Downgrade to 512 GB on Lenovo's site. This saves £100 immediately, while still giving you the high-end Z2 Extreme chip. Remove the charger if you already have spares. Another £10 saved, though this depends on your setup. Use VeryPay if you're careful. 10% back for existing customers, or 20% off for new signups. Plan for SSD upgrades later. Don't feel pressured to pay Lenovo's markup today. Storage is cheap and easy to replace. Combine these, and you can transform the Legion Go 2 from a terrifying price tag into something far more manageable. Instead of paying over £1,300, you could realistically bring it down closer to £880 in the UK. That's a difference of more than £400. And the best part is, you're not losing performance. You're just being strategic. This is the key message. Don't let the price scare you away. If you want the Legion Go 2, there are smart ways to get it for less. You just need to understand how Lenovo structures their models, and how retailers like Very operate. With that knowledge, you're no longer just a customer, you're a smart buyer. Of course, there are a few warnings that come with this. First, using Very Pay means you're signing up for credit. That means a credit check, and it means you'll need to be careful about how you manage the account. If you don't pay off the balance within the 12-month window, you'll be hit with extremely high interest rates, 45% April, which is ridiculously high. That's why it's so important to treat this only as a short-term way to get the discount. Pay it off quickly, and you've saved yourself £200 or more. Let it linger, and you'll end up paying far more than you saved. Another limitation is stock. Very's website updates quickly, and with so many people looking for discounts, the Legion Go 2 often goes in and out of availability. At the time of checking, the Z2 Extreme was already sold out on Very's website, while the Z2 was still available on pre-order. This shows how fast people are grabbing these deals. If you want to use this 20% trick, you need to act fast when stock appears. What's also interesting is how the demand for the Legion Go 2 looks right now. At first, many people online assumed the device was too expensive and would be ignored. But browsing through Reddit and other forums tells a different story. Not only are people buying it, some are even buying 2 units, especially when the 20% code comes into play. This shows that even though the Legion Go 2 is pricey, the combination of high performance and smart buying tricks is enough to convince people to jump in. So, what's the lesson here? Don't rush to pay full price. Lenovo's customization tools let you save instantly by adjusting the SSD and charger options. Third-party retailers like Very give even bigger discounts if you're willing to navigate their finance systems carefully. If you combine both approaches, buying a cheaper SSD version from Lenovo or catching a discount code from Very, you can bring the price down from over £1,000 to under £900. That's a difference worth the effort.